Good morning, members, and to the viewing public who are watching under our live feed on our social media platform. The chair apologizes for the delay of today's session. And this time, the chair will now call the first day, second regular session to order, dated today, Thursday, August 7th, 2025. At this time, can we rise for a moment of silence? Thank you, members. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Fadda,
Kaya.
Representative Faudon, Representative Fato,
Present.
Representative Fakinu,
Present.
Senator Babauta, Representative Benavente, Representative Kamatsu Angelo,
Present.
Representative Kamatsu Diego,
Here.
Representative Kamatsu Joel,
Yeah.
Senator Castro, Representative Flores Joseph, Representative Flores Marisa,
Present.
Senator Magofnia, Representative Manglonia,
Present.
Representative Omar,
Here.
Representative Palacios,
Yeah.
Representative Rangamore,
Present.
Chairman Sablan,
Estiga.
Representative Villa Gomez,
Hello.
Representative Yangtamay, Representative Yumu. Mr. Chairman, we have 17 members present and 4 members absent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. With 17 members present, we have duly established a quorum to conduct today's order of business. Please take note for the record that Senator Corina Magofnia, Senator Manny Castro, Senator Selena Babauta, and Representative Dinita Yangtamay are excused on today's order of business. So with that, we move along on our order of business, and we're on item B, reading and approval of the journal. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, we have one SNILD Journal 24-05, first day, second special session, dated July 22nd, 25.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and at this time, I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hereby move to adopt SNILD Journal 24-05, first day, second special sessions, dated July 22nd, 2025. So move.
There is a motion offered by our floor leader for the adoption of SNILD Journal 24-05. It has been seconded. Discussion on the motion. Ready? All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Motion is adopted. Moving along on our order of business, we are now on item C, public comments, and at this time, the podium is open for anyone, any members of the public who are here in our gallery that wishes to make oral testimony. You may proceed. Please state your name for the record. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. My name is Derek Sasimoto. I'm the Executive Director of the Commonwealth Economic Development Authority, and I just wanted to use the public comment time to express my support for the bill. As you can see in the purpose, it pretty much lays it all that, the Marianas is in dire need of revenue to pay for obligations, and we understand that. We understand that it's one Marianas, one united effort, and, we need to help each other out where we can, and so we understand the reason for the appropriation. At the same time, I want to express my appreciation and gratitude for the balance that's found within the bill, that it also appropriates the additional $1 million to CETA to allow us to use that only for economic development, because essentially that's what we've been hoping for. As you know, Public Law 22-1, it created the mandate for CETA to take the lead in economic development, which created unfunded liabilities. We had to create the department, we had to hire the staff, establish the office, build the office, all the needed supplies, but as well as the actual work for economic development. As you all know, we took the lead. We went to Select USA, right? And that's where we invested our money. We didn't just spend money. We have to look at this as investment. And as you can see now, just from that one trip in May, we have multiple investors who are here now. And we have some who are very serious and very close to executing agreements with us. So, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be able to allow us to use this money because, like I said, we don't have a source of funding for this. So essentially, we would have to dip into reserves or offset some of the operational expenses, right? Because we didn't have a dedicated source. So this bill addresses that. And like it says, it'll only be utilized for economic development. So again, I thank you and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Director Sasamoto. Are there any other members of the public that wishes to make comments? Seeing that there is no further comments, public comments is now closed, and we move further down on our order of business. Item D, introduction of local bills, and at this time, I recognize Representative BJ Ato.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Formally introducing House Local Bill Number 24-21 to appropriate $2 million of the dividends collected by the Commonwealth of Economic Development Authority from the Commonwealth Utilities Corporation to assist the Department of Finance and Commonwealth Economic Development Authority with funding related to the 3rd Senatorial District, introduced by myself and several others. And if there's no objection from the members, Mr. Chairman, may I please ask the floor leader to place this on calendar for action today?
If there's no objection, at this time, I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I hereby move to place House Local Bill Number 24-21 in today's bill calendar for action. Thank you.
There is a motion offered by our floor leader for the placement of House Local Bill Number 24-21 in today's bill calendar. It has been seconded. Discussion on the motion. Ready? All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Motion is adopted. Thank you, members. We move now further down. Item E, there happens to be none on introduction of local resolutions. We are now on item F, messages from the governor. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, we have two Governor's Communication number 24-11 and 24-12.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Discussion on governor's communication. Ready? Thank you, members. Moving along, we are now on item G, messages from the mayors. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, we have three Mayor's Communication number 24-06 through 24-08.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Discussion on messages from the mayors. Ready? Thank you, members. Moving down to item H, there happens to be none on reports and communication from heads of departments and agencies. We are now on item I, House Communications. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, we have two House Communication number 24-30 and 24-31.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Discussion on House Communications. Ready? Thank you, members. We are now on item J, Senate Communications. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, we have one Senate Communication number 24-06.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Discussion on Senate Communications. Ready? No. We didn't suspend the rules. Yeah. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving along, we are now on item K, Delegation Matters. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, we have three Delegation Matters number 24-42 to 44.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Discussion on delegation matters. Ready? Thank you, members. Moving along, there happens to be none on item L, miscellaneous communications, none on item M, reports of standing committees. There is none on item O, unfinished business, none on item P, resolution calendar, and at this time we are now on item Q, bill calendar, and this time I recognize the floor leader for the proper suspension of rules.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I hereby move to suspend Rule 7, Section 8 under committee reports. And, Mr. Chairman, short recess, please.
Short recess. We are back on session, and before we had that short recess, the floor leader has the floor.
My apologies, members, and also hereby move to suspend Rule 9, Section 7, referral of bills, and Rule 9, Section 9 and 10, for first and final reading. So move.
There is a motion offered by our floor leader for the suspension of rules, and it has been seconded. Discussion on the motion. Ready? All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Motion is adopted. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I hereby move to pass House Local Bill 24-21 to appropriate $2 million of the dividends collected by the Commonwealth Economic Development Authority, CEDA, from the Commonwealth Utilities Corporation, CUC, to assist the Department of Finance and the Commonwealth Economic Development Authority with funding related to the 3rd Senatorial District. So move.
There is a motion offered by our floor leader for the passage of House Local Bill 24-21, and it has been seconded. Discussion on that motion. Recognize Representative B.J. Atto.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. They've been passed out, Mr. Chairman, a substitute version of the legislation. If the members can follow, I'll read the added language. So on page 2, starting on line 1 to line 3, it should read, and it's in your substitute version, said funds originated from Covenant Section 702 funds and shall be appropriated from the revolving fund established pursuant to Public Law 5-37 and codified at 4 CMC 10508. Again, on page 2, on line 12, after CUC, it should read from the revolving fund established pursuant to Public Law 5-37 and codified at 4 CMC 10508. And on page 2, on line 18, removing relating to local projects, so it should just read 1 million for the Commonwealth Economic Development Authority for economic development within the 3rd Senatorial District. Furthermore, on page 3, line 3, after the word purpose, it should be within the 3rd Senatorial District. On page 3, line 8, it should start with the CEDA Executive Director and his or her designee as expenditure authority of the funds going to CEDA. Furthermore, on line 9, after the word finance, and CEDA Executive Director. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
There is a substitute and offered by the author of the bill, and it has been seconded. Discussion on that motion. Ready? All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Motion is adopted, and House Local Bill 24-21 is now under Substitute 1. Further discussion. Recognize Representative Marissa Flores.
Thank you, Chairman. While I understand the intent is good for the substitute that's been offered, there's several things that I'd like to point out. And on page 2, line 17, it mentions $1 million for the Commonwealth Economic Development Authority for economic development within the 3rd Senatorial District. Now, while it does state that, I would assume that CDA is island-wide. It is CNMI-wide. Therefore, whatever investment that is going to be placed into this economic portion, since our executive director mentioned that it was never funded to begin with, that it will help all senatorial districts. And I think that's important to note. However, again, this is a common practice here that, we change all of these wonderful things, make all of these new divisions and departments, but it's almost like the AG. You have a elected AG with no subpoena power. Same thing applies here. You create something and then you don't fund it. So now we're going to fund it. But the intent is great because it's going to help everybody, everyone Commonwealth-wide, because tourism and investment and everything that is placed on the mission for CEDA should be accomplished under the direction of the executive director, which I support. Now, another thing is that, there's communication that just came in, and for those who have not seen it, I'm sure it will be out for the public to scrutinize when the LB puts out or we record this in the archives. But there's also vendors, there's also land compensation. There's also all kinds of other things we need to pay that we still haven't paid for since beginning of time. Now, I'm glad that we're going to support, once again, the retirees. It's great. I don't have a problem with that. But when this retirement system was designed, for whatever intent it was designed great. But then lawsuits came about, all of these things came about. And we could have fixed that time, so that this obligation can somehow decrease itself. And while I support the retirees and I support whatever it is that we're trying to do to keep them, their lights on to pay their bills, because this is a society that is, aging out. And we have to be able to give them what they deserve because they've invested their time in public service. I understand. But you have a separate group of people, again. Vendors that haven't been paid since how many years ago? From COVID till now. You still have vendors that still have not been paid from Pacific Mini Games that have not been paid. Where's the oversight on that? Where's the money to pay those vendors? You have vendors that went into agreements with the CNMI government during a period when billions of dollars was floating in here, and again, still have not been paid. We can talk about the general fund, we can talk about the SNILD funds, but we cannot keep saying there's no money when there's money. But there's money to pay for certain things, not everything. My whole concern here is priority. Now, all of us agree in here that retirement is our top priority. Very true. That's a voting block that no one wants to challenge because we respect our Menamco and they have a very, very strong influence in everything that we do. So I get it. I understand. And I will support this. But it has to be clear that we can no longer be designing and crafting laws without the proper supports that it needs, because they keep coming back for we need to pay this, we need to pay that. We just passed this budget, and you filed the Budget Act for 2026. And in that act, again, we're giving finance. We put in this transparency for financial data. What happens if the governor now vetoes that? Then where does that leave us? We don't even know if these numbers are even accurate to begin with because we have no access. But when it comes down to the SNILD, apparently we can account for every penny in that account. This, honestly, this kind of behaviors and this lack of planning and taking responsibility to do the right thing for everybody, it needs to stop. Honest to God, it needs to stop because we're going to continue to put our generations, our children, to pay debt that we can no longer pay. We keep scratching from anywhere to pay debt, and we keep going into debt. When are we going to stop going into debt and really address the problem and pay down our liability? When? Because I've got bills up there that can really fix certain things, but nobody wants to act on those because why? Nobody wants to face the music and address the root problems. The other day, this morning, I just got another phone call from the vendors from the Liberation. Still have not been resolved. Now everybody wants to lawyer up. That's fine. But where was the lawyer when they were designing these things? Now what's going to happen? We're going to wait for another lawsuit? I mean, just things like that. That should have been fixed from the very beginning. Now these vendors are coming to us. Can you help me fix this problem? Office din na problema. Taimanos din ang pumatsogi and they're going to take us to manapapazizu BGRTs at timanahong ni 10% talo po maamon ni Guang. I don't hear anybody else complaining about that. I don't hear anyone else offering a solution about that. When a woman here, and I don't want to be sexist in this thing, but really, let's be real. When I speak, it's a problem. I'm complaining, I'm angry, I'm furious. But let's look at the numbers here. But when you guys mention something, it's not complaining, it's fixing the problem. No problem here. I'm not complaining. But when I complain to help and try to help my community, not even just my constituents, the Commonwealth as a whole, I'm mad. So forgive me and forgive my tone. I'm not angry. I'm just, honestly, when do we stop? I'm not going to give any more debt to the kids. When the retirement system was designed, I was not even old enough to vote. I became a voter. I started working, still paying the retirement. Here I am, 30-some years later, 30-some years later, still paying. Joyce Tang needs to make it here at some point, and she needs to give us the numbers and give us the data that we need, because we cannot continue to do this without even having this lady show up. I'm so sorry, colleagues, and I'm sorry to the general public, but honestly, I'm not angry. At some point, we just need to address the root problem, look at the issues, really figure out what we're here to do. Is it for all, or if it's just for few? For friends? Because my allegiance, like I've said, is to the general public, everybody that invests their time, their effort, and their hard work into this. And while some of my colleagues might not agree, that's the beauty of democracy. We can agree to disagree, but I will not use this platform to be quiet when the people are expecting us to say something, to stand up for them, for at least what is right. At least that's the minimum. So I'm not angry, honestly. I'm just talking to the wall at this point, waiting for someone to answer me back, or waiting for some kind of behavior, something to change. But I will share this with you. Those people out in the community, they watch every day, from every committee meeting we have to even SNILD committee. And they're waiting for one of us, somebody, either as a whole or one, to stand up and at least protect everyone's interests, not just the few. And until that happens, I guess I'll be talking to the wall by myself, waiting for somebody to at least support my endeavor for change, good change, change that everyone will benefit from, including the retirees. But for the record, Chairman, at this point, I'm going to actually send a letter to Joyce Tang, because this lady needs to come here. And whoever that judge was, maybe we should bring her here too. Thank you. I yield my time.
Thank you, Representative Marisa Flores. And we're still under open discussion. Recognize Representative Danny Aquino.
Thank you, Chairman. I just want to state for the record that this bill, it attempts to address some of these shortfalls. And in it, from my understanding, it's also to address payments to vendors. Now, if we look at the history of the vendors, a lot of these things were all created because agencies that were given money spent way beyond their means. So moving forward, I think that's the best word, moving forward. We move with caution, we move with transparency, and maybe this is not the right, maybe these are not the right things, but in general, it's meant to address and help out a lot of people, retirees, vendors. And I think for CEDA's part, I would like to see the executive director, try to be more creative and to think outside of the box for that I think it was $55 million or $52 million business grant that was given. And to try to let's stimulate the economy, let's work together, because we're seeing a lot of influx of small businesses, nonprofits that are coming to the legislature requesting for financial assistance. And I think if we're in this partnership together, CETA also should look into ways to ease some of the restrictions so that businesses can help our economy. Because right now, the bottom line is it's about money. That's what this whole thing is about, money. Every election I hear it, money becomes less and less. And this has happened since the time and the exit of the garment industry. And that's just the bottom line. And I want to thank, again, everyone here. Thank you, and I give my time.
Thank you, Representative Danny Aquino. Under further discussion, recognize Representative Roman Benavente.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On line, page 2, section 2, appropriation, and line 14, all the way down to line 18. I'm reading at this, and I just like to say that, you know, I'm glad that Mr. Sassamoto has stood up and highlighted his concern as far as the funding that's going to be given to the economic development. I'm happy that Mr. Sassamoto got up and alluded that the funds that will be given to CETA will be used in a way that it will be beneficial also for the CNMI. And the reason why I say that is that it will, and I personally know and have seen also some ventures that are coming around trying to explore the island for investment over here. And they're legit type companies that are coming around. So by giving them this $1 million, it will also enhance and develop whatever capacity they need to accommodate all this type of business that we have. This is new business. We just have to remember that we're flat broke basically when you look at it. But this is money that, you know, that is from SNILD, and we could use it too at the same time, since it's giving it to Department of Finance another $1 million to pay for various obligations and local projects within the community. Yes, you know, Mr. Chairman, and also the retiree, to fund the retiree. You know, Mr. Chairman, it's, to me, it is a plus for this because there are a lot of other unpaid payment to the community by finance. I mean, to vendors by finance. They haven't paid these people yet, and they're waiting for their money. But at the same time, we look at the retirees, you know, because they're like what Marisa was saying, is that they're already really old and they look forward for their livelihood at their golden years, you know. So they need the money, and we need to have this. This is one of the most important things. As she said earlier about the retiree, we should ask Joyce Tang and try to find out all the information and whatnot regard as far as what they have. But Mr. Chairman, you know, it's not a laughing matter. This is serious. And we have to support this bill. I would support this bill because it also pays the project, the pending obligation of community projects outside. And that's what I like to see that it's done. Mr. Chairman, thank you, then Sidus Mosi. I will personally support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Roman Benavente. Any further discussion? Ready? Okay, members, thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Fata,
Yes.
Representative Faudon,
Yes.
Representative Facto, Representative
Yes.
Aquino,
Resounding yes.
Representative Benavente,
Again,
Representative Kamatsu Angelo,
Yes.
Representative Kamatsu Diego,
Yes.
Representative Kamatsu Joel,
Ungan.
Representative Flores Joseph, Representative Flores Marisa, Representative Manglonia,
Yes.
Representative Omar,
Hungan.
Representative Palacios,
Hungan.
Representative Rangomar,
Yes.
Representative Villa Gomez,
No.
Representative Yumu, Representative Flores Marisa, Mr. Chairman,
Hungan.
Mr. Chairman, we have 15 members voted yes, 1 member no, 1 member abstain, 4 absent.
With 15 members voting in the affirmative, it gets the necessary votes that to pass House Local Bill 24-21, substitute 1 now passes the delegation. Okay, that takes care of item Q, bill calendar, and we are now on item R, miscellaneous business. Are there any miscellaneous business? Recognize Representative BJ Ato.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just so that, for the reference of the members and the general public, that the mayors of Northern Islands and the mayor of Saipan did submit comments for the legislation that we acted on today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And you're correct. I believe every member were given the correspondence from both mayors. Further discussion or miscellaneous business? Recognize Representative T.J. Manglonia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I may, I do echo the sentiments of Rep. Flores. I do understand the intent, and I respect the systems that were in place before my time. But I think we're coming to a turning point here where we need to look at the big picture and see what's working and what's not. Just because these are the things that have been done before in the past doesn't mean we have to continue to accept it. And I think everybody from all branches of government need to come together and look at all the big picture, see what are the obligations we need to pay, how we can better fix these systems that keep creating the same problems, and say, for instance, even the retirement program. We don't even have a retirement to look forward to, and instead of the retirement continuing to be an obligation, if there's a way that we could resurrect this program and do it better and actually contribute to it, so that way it's not a flat-out expense, maybe that could generate, benefit all of us, including the younger generation, including myself, that we just don't have any, retirement for our future or any savings to build a house. These are the things that we should be thinking about for our future, and these funding that we come in, how we can better invest it, and just of course pay off our obligations and our debts. How can we continue to hear from our vendors that haven't been paid for years? It's just not fair. And again, I'm not going to put the blame on anyone in particular or any branch of government, but I think it comes a point in time where we all need to look at ourselves and say, hey, like I said, like Rep. Aquino said, let's move forward from the past, the mistakes of the past, and let's look at the current system and where are the leaks, how can we fix it together as a whole. And that needs to come from the top down, from leadership, from our governor to ourselves as leaders, and also the members of the judicial branch. So I just wanted to say my piece, but I also wanted to say thank you guys for your efforts and always putting our retirees first. Both of my grandmas are retirees. I understand the impact that that funding has on them. So of course I do support anything that helps them, but at the same time, it's like, how we learn from that? We had the mistakes of the past. How can we fix it? How can we create a better system? How can we create a system that's going to help us all, and so that we don't have to keep scrambling to find the funding to cover the retirees or the medical referral. You know, let's try to create a system that it's going to be beneficial for us all. And it's gonna take all of us. It's gonna take all of us. You know, I don't put that on one person. I don't just put that on the governor. We all need to come together and figure this out as a community, because it's time. Our people are they just had enough. We've all had enough of this already, and we're ready for change, and we're ready for growth, and we're ready to move forward, heal from our wounds, and I'm optimistic, and I'm glad that I'm with you all here in this journey together to help move our Commonwealth forward. So I wanted to say that piece. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative TJ Manglonia. Further statements under miscellaneous business. Recognize Representative Marisa Flores.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Rep. Manglonia. You know, at some point, there's civil unrest. Civil unrest doesn't just come in times of war and battle. Civil unrest is also talking about the mental health, the emotional roller coasters, the unsolved issues and concerns that the public has been faced with for many years. And yes, Rep. Aquino's right, we do need to move forward. But when you move forward, that requires change. So we need to change. We need to, all of us, and develop a system that works for everybody. You know, going back to the retirement, I understand where Rep. Manglonia is coming from, because both his grandparents retired. A lot of us in here had parents who retired from the government. My parents didn't. They were private sector. They paid their taxes. In fact, they paid into a system that they didn't even retire into. And a lot of other people that come from private sector, we don't have a retirement. They rely on Social Security. They rely on Medicare. I mean, we designed a system so great that we can't even support it right now. So if we can just work together and figure out a way to make this work for 10 years. We plan for tomorrow, but we never plan 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. My children might not even come back because they can't retire. That's sad, because we're trying to bring our kids back home to come and be the leaders, but they're not going to come back to what? What are they coming back for? And we need to really ask ourselves, what are these children, why are they leaving, and why aren't they coming back? Healthcare, education, retirement, wages. It's very simple. And we're still trying to help the healthcare system. But luckily, we're heavily reliant on federal grants. PSS, education, same thing. Luckily, we're reliant on federal grants. But now we have a maintenance of effort. I would have loved to see the maintenance of effort be included in some of these appropriations, because we still have the 13% we got to pay to Medicaid. I'm not going to wait another year when I go to the clinics and see the clinics say, I'm sorry, temporarily suspending Medicaid. But I almost guarantee you that's what's going to happen again. And then what? So thank you, Rep. Manglonia, for pointing that out, because you're right. This civil unrest needs to stop. We need to heal. But change comes from within. And if we can't change to design, craft, and develop a better system that works for all, then really what is the point? We can't expect our people to do more than what they're already doing. Waking up every day, going to work, paying into a retirement system, paying their taxes, and they have yet to thrive. No, they can't thrive. No one thrives. I hope we get there one day. Thank you. I yield my time.
Thank you, Representative Marisa Flores. And let me recognize Representative Roma Benavente under miscellaneous business.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, again. No, si Diyos mo si Afan dat tasagi di lingwahin Pilata.
Por favor, señor.
No. No, o comprende bio ni matsogwi ni ma-introduce pa ako ni. Este na bio ni matsogwi paro nasatisfetso i probleman publiko loki isa nito. Isa lopi ni pomanoy finance nasatisfetso i probleman publiko. Law at the same time loki ni. Man retiraw. Wow, ti retired zo. Ti manyunyuli zo retirement. Matsuso zi gobernuan maman lo ti manyunyuli zo retirement. Pusti a beneficio zo sti. Para iji man beneficio na. Man diretso na fan manoi. Law in the other hand loki. Debidi naso. Na isa lapi ni tasutsuli paugo dan ofa tasutsugi gini ichichota. Ni patana mauling mo na ikinalamti ni man mamamayla sa ifamaguun. Esti paugo na problema ita padidisi na. Problema ni man mapus. Tatsuli ji problema ni man mapus at tayo dukahit mo na. Ni hafa tayo manu tatsaloni mo na para ifamagunta ni man mamamayla para minaulik. Inigi na hemplo ulalang usuzong. Na debidi da ita da debidi kada uno gija ita. Ta sun my side, da tapay sin my side. Ko hafa bidad daw maulik, pad hafa bidad daw baba. Hafa bidad daw dinansi, dan hafa bidad daw lachi. Inigi jata na holo neno galong kursonta. Tatunga tu may mamanu muna ikarirota. Sa itauto chutsuli experience niya, pero dikta muna sa salon niya. Inanaw niya gitsalan. Ang niuno ti kumumprendis ti pus. So be it lo. Istigi na itagigit kadaw nugi jaita kumutaw to. Unsuli afon tsogi giman mapus, pero na mauling muna afa inanaw mo gimamela. Pusiman mamela ginanaw mo, ifamagon mo, dan todo'y itauto ni umurrizal sa Diyo. Pusijigi nalilek ko nisti. Taja, mas tagogo, na por favor, ugaha dididi, honesto, dan klaro, gi operasyon i gobernamento. Taja jo na komentus gini finutsamuro ta gini. Lau sasangan si Paugo. Ginin eksperyensya na manera. Diyan ginin eksperyensya gini chiso kumu kongreso. Disti kongreso jo. Esta Paugo na momento. Utsuli eji eksperyensya. Daw nadadanya, daw usa eksperyensya pa beanaw mo na. Sa gwaos ta amko jo, utunga no, gif comprende no. Lawatan pa ako para man mamela di famagunta. Este na budget. Isalapi ni Pumanay Finance. Para fan mapasi loki i fera di retiree. Para fan mapasi. Edu siya na kumpanya iti man mapapasi ni man manyogi siya. Project isa nizong. Ni man na fan sisilbi. Itauto mo na fan sisilbi siya. Tagi kumbutsalan. Afa siya na fasilidad. Inigi siya. Pusin nigi mo dumidikta dispensa do Mr. Chairman lo. Jaw na bay tukaw yung sida benaklaro. Na kita jas ti beneficyon niya. Guaha beneficyon niya sti na salapi para mapulog finance. No. I-offer tayo mano ni po manasadben niya. An offer tayo mano ni para mapasi niya. Nigi taja aturidatu ni para bay. Uzulo. Guaha aturidatu ni sinya bay faisin. Ta aga ngalon, ta husga alon. Yata sangani fanano magi den sangani ami. Hafanin na sidbisti na salapi. Jamu na sangani ji disti problema nanti sistay problema paugo. Unu sa ijo kum eksperyensya. Idisti anti sisti siya na problema ta padesi. Desta paugo ti makuriri. I-offer ijo niya arguments yung risa. And no, Mr. Chairman, si Dos Mosi.
Si Jesus Mosi, Representative Roman Benavente, Any further under miscellaneous business? Ready? We are now on item S, announcement. Are there any announcement from the members? Ready? If none, we are now on our last order of business, item T, adjournment, and this time I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I hereby move to adjourn, subject to the call of your call, Chairman.
There is a motion offered by our floor leader for adjournment, and it has been seconded. Discussion on that motion? Ready? All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, members, and to the viewing public, we are now adjourned. Any